like note and bond is important because bond you can handle it to maturity, and sometimes you buy something like available for sale. Sometimes you buy something like trading security. You already know the differences between those three words just review from previous thing. And trading security, it means that any security can be share, can be bond that you buy it in the stock exchange, and then you don't hold it until maturity, and then you sell it and then trade it regularly. When you trade it regularly, this is called trading security. But the other word you already learned, you already studied, it available for sale security. Available for sale security, it means that you buy bond or buy stock in private company, but not available for sale in the stock exchange. But just you can sell to other investor, but not freely actually sometimes. That's why we call it available for sale security. It less liquidity. So because of less liquidity in accounting, when something less liquidity, it means a bit risky. So when a bit risky, so when we do reporting about uh, we call uh, we call unrealized gains and unrealized losses for available for sale security. So it means that you have to report it in other comprehensive income. But for trading security, when you buy it, it means easy to sell, easy to buy actually, because available in the stock exchange. That's why we call trading security. So in this case, trading security can get the unrealized gains, we call unrealized holding gains, and or unrealized holding losses. So in this case, unrealized holding gains or losses have to be reported in net income. The case of net income, because less risk, the point, because you can sell it anytime you want. This is we call less risk. In accounting, really separately differentiate uh, well between one is we call income statement, and the other one you studied a new one now is about other comprehensive income. The other comprehensive income, I call it the statement number five, because the statement number five it uh, report something a bit risky. If something you think that a bit risky, and then you have to put there, but actually we have only four to put there. Okay. And in future you will learn about it, because something risky, because you cannot, you actually can convert into cash, but sometimes risk in converting it. But if you put in net income, something that is like risk, it means that easily to gain or losses. Okay. So now I don't want to wait to others, so we can continue. Okay. So here I can review some about slide number 17. uh, if you want to have influence in a management team in one company, so we have three kind of investment. This is it mean that you buy share. When you buy share, if you got less than 20% of ownership, it means that you lack of significant influence. Because I just talk this one, but in the further might be a lot of talk about that. Lack of significant influence mean that you don't have any representative in the management team or board directors. And if you hold share between 20 to 50%, this is we call equity method. In this case, uh, we have a significant influence. I previous term I already explained about significant. Significant, it means that like important. Important, it means that you have some influence, but you don't control the firm. Example, you have your voice in the management team, in the board of directors, and the other one is about has more than 50%. If you hold share of one company uh, more than 50%, it means that you can appoint directors, you can appoint the CEO, you can appoint any management team there. Okay. In this case, we use consolidation method. I just try to explain you that the word consolidation method mean the financial statement of company you invested, you have to put together with your financial statement. It means I put the word parent and like we call parent and subsidiary. It means that if you invest in your subsidiary, it means that the subsidiary financial statement have to put together in this case. In this case, we call consolidation. Consolidation, it means the company have many company. Example like Royal Group, they have like 28. So every year, one big Royal Group will consolidate the 28 financial statement together. How the group make financial statement. And then example like Chipmunk have 13 company now. So at the end of the year, the chief of accountant for the group will do the consolidation of those 13 company financial statement. Okay? So you have to add up and then to consolidate those, and then to make sure that group got profit or not. You know, in terms of legal status, those 13 company are separate, but in terms of economics element, it means that those 13 company are one company only because under Chipmunk Group. Okay, so this is the meaning of consolidations. So any question you can raise it. Okay, if you're not sure, if you want me to explain in Khmer, it's okay. Don't worry. I try to let you understand. And the other one is about the word equity method. Equity method mean like this. You know the word equity. Equity mean, you remember accounting equation. It means asset equal liability plus equity. Equity refer to if you own between 20 to 50%. It means that you own part of equity. You own part of equity of the company you invested. It means that if the company make a profit $20 million, if you own 30%, you can get $6 million profit to write down in your accounting. That's why we call equity method. Equity method, it means that you own part of the equity. It means that accounting equation asset equal to liability plus equity. So equity method, it means that you own part of that. That's why we call that equity method. Okay. So next, here, for the significant influence. What is significant influence mean? Example, if investor own 20% of the voting stock of the investee means a company you buy. It is presumed that the investor have a significant influence over financial and operating policy of investee, and the presumption can be overcome if the investee challenge the investor ability to exercise significant influence through litigation and other methods. It means this one, the meaning of you, if you have a representative there, example, you own 20%, and then you can have a representative in a board of director to be your representative, and then you can exercise the significant influence. And number two, the investor surrender significant shareholder right in a signed agreement. It means that they can give some agreement to you because every year the company have the meeting, and then you can have a voice in the meeting because you own 20%. So this the meaning of significant influence mean like that. So number three, the investor is unable to acquire sufficient information about the investee to apply the equity method. Okay, if they can have information to acquire equity method, so you can apply the 20% you own it. And the investor try and fail to obtain representative on the board writer of investee. Okay, in this case. So what the significant influence, the meaning. So this is a presumption. It means that if you have more than 20%, It means that something when something go wrong, you can advise the company, you can vote, you can talk, you can have a general meeting with them. Okay, and single entity concept. This was a equity method. Equity under the equity method, I said earlier, the investor recognizes investment income equal to its percentage. I said earlier, if a company make a profit $20 million, so you own 20% or you own 30%, and then you recognize the percentage of your own. You don't care about how much they pay you dividend, but actually you a little bit care. But you own the percentage of the profit they makes. Okay, so this is we call income earned by investee rather than portion of net income received as cash dividend. I said earlier. The main important is about the company total profit and then multiply by your percentage. And number two, annually, the investment is recorded at cost. The carrying amount of the investment subsequently is increased by investor percentage of share and decrease the dividend paid. It means this. It means that. Example, you invest $1 million in a stock, and then you own 20% of the company. So and then it means that you have your investment account, debit investment account in $1 billion, and later on, at the end of the year, the company you invest about 20%, and then the company you invested, it means they make profit like 200,000. So and then you got 200,000 multiplied by 20%, and then you own 40,000 in your investment. It means that increase investment by 40,000, and then later on the company paying cash to you as a dividend. It means that the dividend decrease investment and then increase cash. So it means that the other way around. Okay. The meaning that if they pay cash to you, it means that reduce your investment but increase cash in your company. And if you less significant, it means that you write down as dividend revenue. But here no the word dividend revenue in equity method. But what you have is percentage earned in that company. Okay. Here, example. Okay, you see example. On January 1st, 2013, Wilmer in purchased 25% of common stock of APEC in for $180,000. At the date of acquisition, the book value of the net asset is APEC was $400,000, and the fair value of this asset is $600,000. So during 2013, APEC paid cash dividend of $40,000 and report earning $100,000. So here. So fair value of the asset $600,000. So the percentage of ownership, is 25,000. So share of the fair value of the asset 180,000. Cost of investment 180,000. So excess cost of the fair value $30,000. It means that you buy it 150,000. You buy only 100. It means that you buy 180,000. So the excess cost of fair value, uh, actually you can transfer it to like good we call goodwill. Okay, so when you changing the form the equity method to another method, example like this. Example, you own 20%. Let on you sell the share. You sell the share about like 10%. So you own another only 10%. So then you cannot use equity method because at the beginning you own 20%, but now you own only 10%. Or other, it means that so you use other method. But example, you own 30% now, and then you buy another 30%. So and then the beginning you use the equity method and then you own 60%. So when you own 60%, it means that you use consolidation method. So you change the method. Okay. So sometimes the company buy and sell the other, and then the amount of share change. So affect the method you use as well. So example, when the investor level influence of change may be necessary to change from the equity method to another method. At the transfer that the carrying value of the investor investment under equity method is regarded as cost. It means, example, if you change from equity method to consolidation method, so you change to the cost. An example, you change equity method to the less than 20%. Normally, the word less than 20% we call fair value method. If you owe less than 20%, we call fair value method. So when you change fair value method to example equity method to fair value method, so you have to change the amount as well. So the idea behind that. Okay. So in the investment, as I said earlier, this is referred to when one company buy another company, or one company buy share or buy bond. What method to use? Okay, the idea behind that. Okay. So when you change another from one method to another, okay, or from another method to equity method. So when the investor ownership level increase to the point where they can exert significant influence and then can practice can implement significant influence, the investor should change to equity method. So at the transfer that the recorded value is initial cost of investment adjust for investor equity and then go to the investee account. Okay, here. So when you change the method, so you have to do like report earning minus dividend paid and then undistributed earning. It means that when you earn 100 million and then you pay dividend 200,000, so 800,000 because undistributed earning. So and then you have to distribute at it. Okay. So the invested company have to practice, have to prepare for that as well. So this is a bit difficult to understand. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, because this is deal with one company by another company. So the original cost, the unrealized holding gains of or loss of the valuation account are closed. The retroactive change is recorded to recognize, okay, to recognize the investor share of the investee earnings in the original investment. So when you change it, so the total earning we call return earning, and then you have to recognize those to invest the earning, okay, to the original investment. So you have to recognize that. Okay, fair value option. I said earlier, if less than 20%, we use fair value method or fair value option. More than 20%, we can use equity method, and more than 50%, we use the consolidation method. It's a bit wordy, okay. So it is a gap. Okay, normally the gaps allow companies to use the fair value option for held to maturity, available for sale, and equity method investment. The investment is carried at fair value, unrealized gains, and unrealized holding loss are including net income. So when you change the method to fair value method, it means that you can put in the income statement those gain and loss, unrealized gain and loss. So for held to maturity and available for sale investment, the amount to classifying the investment are trading. Okay. So example, if you invest in held to maturity and available for sale later on, so this is classified in a held to maturity when we change hand actually. It's not when you buy that. So for equity method investment, the investment still is classified on the balance sheet with the equity method investment, but the portion at fair value must be clearly indicated. Okay. And the fair value option is determined for each individual investment is irrevocable. It means that you cannot revocable the previous one. Uh, I just stress that fair value method is less than 20%. 20% to 50% you equity method, and more than 50% you consolidation method. That the thing. That the idea of this one. It's about the treatment of the method actually. Okay, this is financial instrument investment derivatives. Okay, remember there are three kinds of financial instrument in the world. One is equity security because share, and second one is debt security, bonds, and the last one derivatives. Derivative it means index, future contract, forward contracts. If you study finance, you know that future contracts, forward contract, options, and commodity. This is about derivatives. So financial instrument, normally financial instrument, like example like cash, dividend of ownership interest in entity, contract meeting certain condition, example like bond, cash example. And investment derivative, example value in the derived from other security. Example like you buy the future contract about gasoline price. Even gasoline price go higher in future, and so you buy now. This one called derivative. That's why the value up derived from, even the value up the buying because of the oil price, and then you buy in future. That's why you call derivative. That's why the word derivatives from the word derive. Derive means where it's come from. Okay, so derivatives are often used to hedge offset risk created by other investment or transaction. Uh, I just want to explain you about the case here. Hedge means to minimize risk. Example, you know that in next year the gasoline price go to 6,000 real per liter. So avoid having the risk of 6,000 real per liter, but sometimes it's wrong actually. And then you buy, okay, please, the oil company, I want to buy a next year oil, but you gave me like example 4,000 real per liter, okay? And then but actually if the oil price goes 6,000, don't worry. And then I just buy 4,000 because I go to contract with them. So that's why the derivative normally is kind of to minimize risk, to hedge the risk. Okay, that's why the airline company are good at that one. But now airline company collapse, because of COVID. Not because of gasoline. Yeah, gasoline now is cheaper. So some company got problem by that because they cannot predict what is the problem of COVID. Because this time we call too much dummy for investment. If you invest, it's a bit dummy. Dummy means something that happened and unexpectedly. Okay, that's why I call dummy. A lot dummy happened this time. So that's why some company cannot survive. Okay, you see around the world, some big company are collapse, are bankrupt because of too much dummy for the world now. Okay. So that's why there are no derivatives traded in Cambodia yet, but around the world, some country got it. Okay, but in Cambodia, no. Okay. So here are the investment example like some company they often set aside to be used for specific purpose. Example like short-term fund, maybe example like petty cash, payroll account. In long run maybe we have pay a long term. Sorry. We got problem here. Okay, in long term, they have some investment fund. Example like petty cash for short term or payroll account. I mean, they put some money for payroll. They don't care for 3 months like that. It's like payroll. In long run, we fund are often set aside. I'm like pay long term that when come to acquire a 3C stock. Three. Okay, previous time about the word 3C stock mean 3 stock is much different from the outstanding stock. Three treasury stock refer to the stock that the company buy or the company hold. That's why I call treasury stock. Because some companies see that the stock go down and a lot of stock selling in the market. So they want to protect the price, the down price. So the low price, and then they try to buy back. This one we call treasury stock. So when the company buy back, we call treasury stock. Okay. So some fund they set aside for fund for special purposes and sometimes for as investment. So this is kind of investment fund. Because some company they don't just do their business only. Sometimes if they have some money, so they do other investment. So investment good, you know why? Because sometimes it diversify the investment. So you remember, don't put all the eggs in one bucket. So that's why they look for other investment to have the current investment. And other investment, normally, as I said earlier, is a common practice. When your company make a lot profit, and then cannot, example is enough for investment. So then they have to look for other opportunity. Okay. Example like some company they try to buy insurance for their key officer to retain those officers to work for you for a long time. Or sometimes the company pay premium, and then uh, the insured officer can get the benefit, okay, the benefit from that. That's why they can leave it. Come example like health insurance, like a life insurance, other insurance, or children insurance, boy, like that. Okay, so if the officer die, the company receive the proceed from the policy. So sometimes our policy uh, bill a portion of each premium as surrender value. The cash surrender value of such policy is classified investment on balance sheet. Okay, because some company they try to invest in that, because if they don't invest, if the stuff go wrong, and then they don't have much money to pay it. So the case here, so that's why the investment is good. Sometimes they don't just invest in for insurance company, but they just invest, they set aside for pension fund for every staff, and then they got the money for the pension fund of the staff, and then invest it when their investment in for the pension. So when the pension, when the asset go up, and then they got a lot, so the company pay less later. But when something go down, and then the company pay high later. So investment is good, sometimes. But if in term of economic crisis, investment not really good sometimes. Okay, check it. There are always opportunity, but there are always challenges for investment. That's why I said it's about investment. When you invest in good, and then you got opportunity. But if you invest in bad asset, that's why we call impairment of investment. It means that investment go down. So when investment go down, remember when investment go down, is the word OTT, other than temporary. Example is go down one day and tomorrow go up, don't worry. But OTT means that investment go down for a period of time and then cannot come back. That's why investment go down. That in this case, we call impairment, or some the impairment at this time we call other than temporary. It more than usual. So when more than usual mean that you have to recognize loss. That's why we call impairment loss. Example, you buy share before COVID, for the airline company, and the airline go down, okay, and then cannot survive. Airline go down for like 3 months already now. So this is called other than temporary. So other than temporary like this, you say example $5 per share now become $1 per share. At this time, you recognize that you got lost $4. This loss we call impairment loss. Okay, this one other than temporary. A lot of company practice the word other than temporary during COVID a lot. Because why? Because they make loss. Because when they make loss, they have to recognize loss. When they recognize loss, they can put in their income statement. When they can put income statement, what mean? Reduce the profit. When you profit, or sometimes we use, even they make negative profit. In accounting, you can carry forward. When you carry forward, you pay less tax in futures. Okay. When you carry forward loss, then you make less profit in future, and then you pay less tax. The idea behind that. That's why you have to recognize the loss. The loss unless it added temporary. So in this case, if you want to see that added temporary or not, you have to have 3 steps of process. So one, first you determine if investment impair. Example during COVID, but it's not COVID, it's okay. But COVID investment go down since March, April, now May, and now come to June. So in 3 months like that, investment really impair. And determine any impairment is ardent temporary. But if you lost 1 week and then come back next week go up, no, it's not ardent temporary unless more than like 1 month. And then you have to report where to report the ardent temporary impairment. Normally you have to report it in the net income. Okay, ardent temporary impairment loss, net income, because recognize in the profit and loss account. Okay. So impairment of investment. Example, you invest $1 million before COVID, and now your investment become $500,000. So that's why you have to report that and ask your question that is the investment impaired? Yes. If the value is less than investment, example, you invest $1 million, now only $300,000. Yeah, so value is $300,000 now. So this is recognized loss. Same, just if the value is less than investment advertised cost. Okay, is there any impairment or then temporary? If yes, the investor cannot assert that it has intent ability to hold the investment until fair value recovery. So you cannot hold it. You have to sell it. So this one we have this is then temporary. If you hold bond, that equity investment share, that investment is bond. If the investor intend to sell the investment, and we believe more likely than not that investor will be required to sell the investment prior to recovering amortized cost of the investment, she has incurred credit loss. So if you see that your bond lost value, so you can recognize it. And when you can recognize it, you can put into a profit and loss account on an income statement, and then you can claim the losses as expense. And where is the OTT impairment mean? Normally, OTT impairment report, you have to, as I said earlier, put in net income. Because why? Because you see that the impairment you make loss is very feasible. In case you make loss very feasible, you have to put for share net income. For that investment example like bond, in net income, investor attend to sell security is more likely than not. Example, you hold bond and then you sell it. You want to sell it, but now we make loss, so then you can report it in net income. Okay, but in other case, otherwise credit loss portion in the credit loss portion you have to put in income, and non-credit loss portion, example like credit loss, example like the bond value go down, sometimes about not about credit, so you have to put in OCI. Maybe you have two bond and bond about like the company cannot pay you, the other one is like you lost in interest or lost interest, so therefore you can report in OCIs. Okay, so nearly the time of Zoom finish. I will copy the link again, and then we can go to new implement of chapter 13 12, sorry, was, and then you can learn more about that. Okay, just wait for next Zoom, and then if you finish, okay, don't worry, it's about less than one, not less than 1 minute for Zoom. Okay, so I will stop the Zoom now, and then we resume again. Okay, we resume again because nearly the time of stopping. So 4 minutes on, and then I will share the Zoom again. Okay, stop now.